Peace be upon you. Welcome to my channel. My channel is called Disciple of Ibrahim. And as you can tell by my channel's name, I do try to be a spiritual disciple of Prophet Ibrahim because I do believe, according to the Quran, that is, that he is the best Muslim. But that's a topic for another day. Anyways, I wanna discuss what this video is about. This video is about what obeying God and obeying the messenger actually means in the context of the Quran. Now, the translations I'm using is from a very wise man called Baba Schweib. This is his channel. This is his Wikipedia. You can read it. It's called thegreatquran.com. This is his YouTube channel, and I highly recommend him. He's a very wise man. He knows the Quran way better than I do, and he does answer a lot of questions in his live streams. So I want to get into what obey God and obey the messenger is, because people have this misconception about what obey God and obey the messenger is. So I will try to be civil here, but if there is any Sunnis or Salafis or Shia, if they come and they respond to me and they respond to me in an aggressive way, I will respond in kind, as the Quran tells you that you're allowed to do. If someone's being aggressive to you, you can be aggressive to them back. But and in terms of the Sunnis and Shias that are already aggressive towards us, I will be aggressive towards them because they struck the first blow. People like Sheikh Uthman, Daniel Hakikuchu, these people they already have thrown the fire at us, so I'm perfectly willing to throw the fire back at them. Anyways, let me just. There's a lot of verses. I actually took a lot of notes on this. I'll try not to get into all of them because there is a lot of verses to get through. So I'll just go through the ones I've highlighted, the ones I think are very, very important. So the first thing is, let's go to Quran, Surah 3, verse 78. And indeed, among them is a group who distort the book with their tongues to make you consider it from the book, while it is not from the book. And they say it is from God, while it is not from God. And they say a lie about God, while they know. So I'm quoting this verse just to point out that people have done this in the past before. This is not a new thing. People have distorted the book before. I'm not exactly using this as evidence against the hadith. I'm just saying that it has been done before. Just a clear verse for you. Now, let me go to Surah 3, verse 151. I'm going to try to get through these verses really quick because there is a lot of verses. Because they have, and so read this, which he has not sent down any authority. We will cast terror in the hearts of those who disbelieve because they have associated others with God, of which he has not sent down any authority. Now here it says others. It didn't say God. It said others who associate others with God. There's no exception. If you associate anything with God and God has not given them any authority, then you will go to hell. Now, let me go to this next verse. I could be talking about these verses a lot more, by the way, but I'm trying not to waste too much time. This is Surah 4, chapter 46. Among the Jews are those who distort words out of the places, and they say, we hear but disobey, and we hear without earshot. So be our shepherds, twisting their tongues and defaming the religion. And if they had said, we hear and obey, they have listened and obeyed it, they would have been better. Did I quote the right verse? But God has caused them for this, so they do not believe except a few. So yeah, I'm quoting this verse just to show you there are Jews who twist the words of God. And there has, even among the prophet, there's been the Jews who twist the words of the prophet to fit their needs. So I'm just pointing this out. This is all kind of just the baseline and of what my conversation is going to be about. So now let's go to Surah 4, verse 105. I know I'm going through a lot of verses, but I'm trying to get through this really quick. Indeed, we have revealed the book to you in truth, so that you may judge between the people by what God has shown you, and do not be an adversary for the traitors. So the noble messenger had to judge with what God has revealed. He couldn't use his own judgment. He has to judge by what God has shown. So it's not the prophet's personal opinion that he's using to judge people. Now, let's see. I'm just checking my notes here. Do not seek becomes apparent most recent warned by the. Yeah, go to Surah 9, 19. Say, what at all is greater in testimony? Say, God is a witness between me and you that this Quran has been inspired to me in order to warn you by it, and whoever it may reach. So the Prophet is supposed to warn by the Quran. He's not supposed to warn by his own opinion. I mean, I'm just quoting Quranic verses, and later on in this video, I'm going to tell you logical reasons why the Prophet would not have his own hadith. That would not make any sense. Well, he has a hadith. The hadith is the Quran, but in the context of the Sunnis, I'm talking about. And obviously, there's other verses where it talks about the messenger's only duty is to deliver the message. I think that verse alone is enough, because if the messenger's only duty is to deliver the message, then why are we assuming that he has any other duties when God literally mentions that's his only duty? Anyways, this argument, I want to show you something. This one is very, very important. I don't think people mention this very often. A permit from God and his messenger to those who made an agreement with you among the polytheists. Now, where is the permit? First of all, it's very important to note this. A permit, one singular thing, comes from God and his messenger. It didn't say a permit from God alone. It says God and his messenger. So if they were separate, this wouldn't make any sense, because it would just say it's either from God or it's from his messenger. It wouldn't say God and his messenger. Anyways, here's the permit right here. The permit is literally in the Quran. So a Quranic verse is literally from God and his messenger. So travel on earth for 4 months and know that, yeah, the permit is right there. And an announcement from God and his messenger to the people on the greatest day of the pilgrimage. And where's the announcement? The announcement is right here. The announcement is right here, man. So these verses right here prove that God and his messenger is literally in the Quran itself. Alright, what else? There's a lot to get through. Maybe I'll make more videos just getting through all these verses, because there is a lot. Maybe I'll get through. Oh yeah, let's go to let's talk about Musa. Musa. For we gave Musa the book, complete upon the one who did well, and an elaboration for all things in guidance and mercy. Perhaps they would believe in the meaning of their Lord. Now, here's the thing. Did Musa have any hadiths attached to him? Even if he did, there was no Ishtihad system. So how would people even know that the hadiths came from Musa? Where's their hadiths? Furthermore, by the way, the Torah wasn't preserved like the same way the Quran was, but people accepted the Torah as a revelation of God. So when Sunnis like to argue where did the Quran came from, how did the Quran reach you? Well, how did the Torah reach the people? How did the Torah reach Musa's people? How did the Injil reach Isha's people? Because the book wasn't preserved. So how did they follow it? What about the people of Muhammad? How did they follow the Quran? What did they use? Because they don't have the preservation miracle we have. Most of the miracles we have from the Quran, that we understand from the Quran, they didn't know about. So how did they follow the book? Anyways, that's another thing. It talks about. I have to find this verse. Where does it talk about? There's a verse in the Quran. I have to find it. I don't know where I can find it, but it talks about how the monks, they judged by the Torah, that they inherited the Torah. So how come Musa's people, they only had to follow the Torah? Where was their hadith? Okay, let me go to 7:53. Oh my god, this video is gonna be kind of long, isn't it? Try not to make it too long. Are they waiting only its interpretation? As you can see here, God asks this: are they only waiting for his interpretation? Meaning that the if the prophet was if it was a prophet's job to interpret the Quran for them or to explain the Quran to them, but why is God saying, are they waiting only its interpretation? That doesn't make any sense. There's also a lot of other verses that's very very common, obviously, like and what hadith after this will they believe in, and all these other verses that is repeated many times by us, right? Or what would they believe after this? Aren't these verses sufficient for you? And all these verses, obviously. So I don't think I need to go over those. So who is more unjust? Why did I go to this verse? The book of Musa. This is it. By the way, none of this is scripted. I'm just doing this on the spot. I'm just reading my notes. There is a lot. I keep mentioning this, but there is a lot. Okay. Their messengers said to them, we are only men like you, but God favors whoever he wills among his servants. It is not for us to bring you any authority except by the permission of God. So the messengers, they cannot bring you anything except by the permission of God. Meaning Muhammad could not bring anything based off his own opinions. He has to bring it from God. It has to be from God. So if it's from God, it's in the Quran. Why would it not be in the Quran? God says, convey everything that's been revealed to you. If you have not, then you have not delivered its message. Of course, the Prophet had miracles or wahi outside the Quran. We're not denying that, but they're not relevant for us, Let me see if I can find the verse. I know I wrote it down here somewhere. Where does this talk about convey? Oh, this verse is important too. Wait, this verse is important too. Indeed, God has sent down the Torah, wherein there is guidance and light. The prophets who submitted judged by it. So the prophets judged by it. And so did the rabbis and the scholars. The rabbis and the scholars judged by the Torah. They didn't have these hadith books. Where was the hadith of Musa? Where's the hadith of Ibrahim? Where's the hadith of all these prophets? There was no isnad system. How would they even know that these hadiths actually even came from them? Now, the isnad, that's a completely different conversation to get to. But anyways, let me see more verses. I'm gonna try not to make this video too long. I'm not trying to give my own commentary too much. I'm just quoting these verses. All right. Okay. And they did not value God with his true value when they said God does not reveal anything to humans. Say, who has revealed the book which Musa brought as light and guidance for the people? You put it on sheets of paper, manifesting and sealing much of what you were taught. That's important to know. People they conceal parts of the Torah as if the same thing like a lot of Sunnis are doing now. I'm not saying all Sunnis. I'm saying a lot of them do. And let me see what other verses. 7:3. I'm doing these all on the spot, by the way. Follow what has been revealed to you, and do not follow allies besides him. Really, do you take heed? Your only ally is God, as well as the messenger, those who believe, those who establish a litany. Yeah. So how do you ally yourself with the messenger? this is something I don't understand. If it means in the context of, you know what? Let's go to something else because I'm gonna be confused trying to explain this one. Let's go to Surah 10, verse 15. And when our verses are recited to them as proofs that those who do not hope to meet us say, bring a reading other than this, or change it. Say, it is not for me to change it by myself, spontaneously. I only follow what is inspired to me. See, so Here, the Prophet literally says he only follows the Quran. Uh, let me go to. Oh my God! By the way, I've only read up to like Surah 17. I already found this many. Oh man, this many verses. I'm not even like 25% done. I'm just going through the highlighted ones. Do not fabricate falsehood. Okay. They have taken their scholars and their monks as lords besides God. Okay, I think this is very important to know because God is telling you right here the scholars and the monks, they have done it before. They have literally said what is lawful or unlawful in the past. The same thing Sunnis are doing right now. The scholars are the ones saying this is lawful, this is unlawful, based off their own opinions. Oh my God. Muslims book was distributed. Only sent to notify or do not invoke anyone who says Prophet was only sent to recite. Messengers cannot bring anything without the permission of God. Replacement of the creed. Yeah, there is yeah, I need to make more videos and go over these verses. There is so much. Oh, this is important. This is really important to cut through it all. This is important, like really important. Who's for a town? Okay, this is important, and we did not find for most of them any agreement, but indeed we found most of them to be immoral. So, what the importance of this verse is to it's just one of many examples in the Quran where it just shows that the majority is usually always wrong according to the Quran. Not always. Sometimes the majority is right. You know, like majority of people say killing is wrong, and they're right. The majority is right in that case. So not in all cases majority are wrong, but a lot of the time they are wrong. Uh, this is not the man. I need to organize my notes better, huh? Where does it mention? Yeah, 1036. Yeah, this right here. This is very important. And most of them only follow assumption. Indeed, assumption does not avail against the truth at all. Indeed, God is aware of what they do. So the hadiths are really just assumptions. That's all they are. They're assumptions. And I don't even know where the assumption comes from. Because in the Quran, let me see if I can find a reference to this. And okay, in the Quran it states, Wallahi, I swear this is in the Quran. I have to find the reference, but the Prophet didn't know which of his companions were hypocrites. Some of his companions were hypocrites. The Prophet himself didn't know who they were. So it's very baffling. How could someone 200 years later, how could they possibly know which of the companions of the prophets were hypocrites? That the companion of the Prophet himself didn't even know. It's it's mind-boggling to me. Anyways, that's all the hadiths are. They're just assumptions. Anyways, you're supposed to follow the creed of Ibrahim. That's pretty well known. Like the things are, kind of well known. I don't think I need to quote them because they are, well known. It's well known we have to follow the creed of Ibrahim. At least I hope so. I want to get through all these verses. And those, if God had willed, he would not worship anything besides him. Again, it says anything. Is there anything upon the messenger other than the clear notification? Your only know was. Or are they saying even if he invented that upon me is my crime, but I'm free from injury? Yeah. So Muhammad cannot invent anything from this verse. If I have invented it, then upon me is my crime. So Muhammad by himself, he cannot invent anything for guidance. He's not responsible for your guidance. There's a verse on that. Let me see if I can find it. That was right here, 1754. Your Lord is aware of what you do. If He wills, He will not. He will have mercy on you, or if He wills, He will punish you. And we have not sent you as their advocate. Uh, this is a verse that literally directly just says the prophet is not guardian or responsible for your guidance. Yeah, 7154. You know, this is the beauty of the Quran, by the way. I'm barely talking. All I'm doing is just showing you verses of the Quran. And their transcript has right, yeah. See, so he took the tablets, and in their transcript was guidance and mercy. So yeah, the Torah on the tablets, I'm assuming, they were guidance, not Musa himself. Musa himself wasn't guidance. They were, and if you invite them to the guidance, they do not follow you. So this is the guidance right here, the Quran, not the Prophet himself. This is the guidance. How could the Prophet guide you if he himself needs to be guided? You know. Let's see. Okay. No, it is. Do not vote any you are only sent to preserve the home and culture. Will be a witness is the clarification inspired. It's not like. Did I quote this verse? I don't know if I did. I think I did quote this verse. Free will is your point. Yeah, I quoted this verse. Okay. So this last verse, because this verse is I think it's very, very important. Is it this verse? And we have certainly seated for hell many of jinns and humans. They have hearts by which they do not comprehend. They have eyes which they do not see, and they have ears by which they do not listen. Those are like livestock. In fact, they are more stray. They are those who are heedless. Now, if you want to believe in hadiths, go ahead. That's your business. But this is what the Quran is telling you. If you're going to listen to hadiths, at the very least, use logic and reasoning. All right. If you see a hadith about how the prophets slept with 10 or 11 of his wives in one night, or how Solomon slept with 70 or 99 of his wives in one night, maybe it's an indication that maybe not everything requires authentic. Even if you want to follow it, I don't recommend you follow it. But if you want to follow it, at the very least, realize that there are hadiths in there that are not authentic, that don't make any sense. They contradict themselves, they contradict reality, they contradict the Quran, they contradict common sense, they contradict morality. A lot of them just doesn't make any sense. God, I'm getting tired. Oh my god, I think I have to make another video. I didn't even go too much into this. Oh my god. Anyways, I just showed you some of the examples, some verses which go against hadiths. And realistically, think of this logically. From a historical perspective, I don't want to talk about historical perspective because I want to prove just from the Quran alone that hadiths can't be trusted. But from a historical perspective, I recommend you watch a video from a guy. He did an interview with Joshua Little. He discusses from a secular point why hadiths are nonsensical and make no sense. And then from secular historians, the first thing they say when they see hadiths, they say, "Oh, we look at it with skepticism when we first look at hadiths." That's according to secular historians' point of view. Whenever they look at a hadith, the first reaction would be to be skeptical. It's explained in a video with Joshua Little. You can watch it. You can search it up. But you don't need those videos. The Quran alone for you is enough. It never tells you to go follow hadith. It doesn't even make any sense. Why would God just not if something is important for you to know, why would it just not be in the Quran? Why would it be outside the Quran? It makes no sense. Anyways, inshallah, God willing, uh, I'll discuss this furthermore in another video. I also want to mention that oh that the messenger's words are in the Quran. By the way, as I showed a couple of examples in the verses in the Quran, the messenger's words are in the Quran itself. Anyways, so why would it? Literally, God tells you multiple times, say kun kun, messenger, say. Sometimes, look, God also mentions in the Quran. I have to find this verse because I don't want to say something without proving it, but I have to find the verse and it's gonna take way too long. That God, I lost my train of thought. Just been talking so much. The messenger, his words are in the Quran itself. Literally multiple times he says kun 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 kun. God literally tells the messenger, do not hasten with the Quran. Don't rush with the Quran. So there are times where the messenger says something before revealing that it's an actual verse from the Quran. Because God says don't hasten with the Quran. So these are just some of the verses I just wanted to mention. This video is long enough. I will make more videos. I'm only on Surah 17 and I've already found hundreds of verses against the hadiths. I only went over the highlighted one and there's so many more points that could be made. But anyways, look, if you're a Sunni, a Salafi, or a Shia, whatever, I'm not gonna be hostile towards you if you're not hostile towards me. But if you're gonna be hostile towards me, I am going to be hostile towards you back. I just wanna preface this. Anyways, thank you for watching. Praise be to God, and God willing, I'll see you in the next video.